Glee is a musical television series that ran from 2009 to 2015. Set at McKinley High School, it follows the students and faculty, in particular the titular Glee group called the New Directions, as they navigate high school life and compete in singing competitions in pursuit of their dreams. I watched most of Glee for a project. The project fell through, as these things often do, and there I was, 100 episodes in to Glee, and all these thoughts and feelings and notes, and now I make videos, of course, and I thought, well, I'll just make a video about Glee. And I'll admit that before watching Glee, I wasn't really a fan, not really my sort of thing. But now I have finished the series, and having seen the series in its totality, I can say I fucking hate this show. I hate basically every episode of this stupid, boring, cruel, fuckwit, milky baby shit of a TV show. So I've compiled a list of the 10 worst things that happened on the show. This is not all of the worst things that happened on the show. It's just some. I'm also not going to talk about the cast at all, because it's its own sad saga, and in general, I think the cast is excellent. I think the performances, the singing and dancing is all really phenomenal, and, you know, they can do serious and they can do comedy, and they have to do both. I'm just going to talk about the dog shit writing. Let's do it. The top 10 worst things that happened on Glee. Number 10. Ice Ice Baby. This is something of a representative title. Sure, it's bad in its own right, but it takes the award for all of the songs we didn't need. Glee is a jukebox musical, so it's got a bunch of songs in it that are by other artists that are supposed to tie into the plot somehow or reveal some inner workings of the character or something. The show does this some of the time, mostly poorly. Like at the start of one episode, Kurt and Blaine, who are in a relationship, sing You Make Me Feel So Young, a song about being in love and how much they love being in love. And then the plot of that episode is Kurt realizing that he can't stand living with Blaine.
He lied to us through song. I hate when people do that.
But the majority of the songs they do are just songs that they do. They'll do a song for no reason, or it'll be part of a singing competition, or they'll just be doing a rehearsal, and then they're just doing the song. When they covered Journey's Don't Stop Believing for the billionth time, you're not thinking about a singer in a smoky room, the smell of wine and cheap perfume. You're just watching these children sing a song. If you go to a high school production of Grease, do you care about Sandy's plight at all? No. You're just watching these children going through the motions and counting down the minutes and maybe looking at that one weird kid in the back who doesn't really know that there's a show going on, and they keep awkwardly grinding against the scenery. But yeah, in season 1 they do a bunch of covers of songs with bad reputations, and they do Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby. Now, back in the day, Vanilla Ice got a lot of shit. It's just a bad song, and they're just doing a bad song, and you're just watching these children do a song you don't like. And what do you do? What do you do? How do you watch Glee? Genuinely asking, how do you watch Glee? Are you on your phone? How do you enjoy this? Oh, it's a good cover? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? The fucking cameras they use are good as well. Who gives a shit? What difference does it make if it's a good cover? Like, the feeling I get for watching Glee is like going to a party and meeting some guy, and he's like, hey man, do you want to hear my impression of The Mask? Smokin'! And like, it's a good impression of Jim Carrey's The Mask, but who gives a shit? And even if it is a good cover, I'll just listen to the original, except I won't. I'll listen to some real music, like Smash Mouth. Thank you very much. So yeah, Ice Ice Baby takes away the award for the songs we didn't need. And yes, my first entry on this list is most of the songs. I didn't like the show. Number 9. Mr. Shoe plants drugs on Finn. So it's season 1, episode 1. Yeah, the first episode. What the fuck are you going to do about it? William Schuster, Mr. Shoe, is trying to recruit students for his new Glee group. And he goes to the football team and he tries to recruit them. It doesn't work. But he hears Finn singing in the shower. And he goes near this nude showering 16-year-old and plants drugs on him and then pretends to catch the drugs on him so he can threaten Finn with serious criminal punishments in order to blackmail him into joining the Glee group. This is a bad look. The show knows it's bad, so what repercussions does Will Schuester face? Why, nothing at all. It's just sort of a thing that happens. They do a few sort of cheeky acknowledgements of it, a few nods to Will Schuester's dark sins, but he suffers no punishment for it. He should really be fired. But my issue is not that it's like unrealistic or like it makes us hate Will Schuester, which it does. My issue is it's just so fucking boring because nothing comes of it. You see, when you do a story, what you want to do normally is you want to get like a little setup, and then you get the setup, and what you do is you sit on that little setup egg until that egg's ready to hatch, and then when it's ready to hatch, you take the egg out and you crack it open, and you've got a little payoff, baby. You did it. You're doing storytelling. It's beautiful. Or you could do what Glee does and just have a bunch of stuff happen. Number 8, grilled cheeses. This episode is a fan favorite. I'm gonna fuck it up. So, Kurt's father, Bert, suffers a heart attack, hospitalized and unconscious. They're not sure if Bert will recover at all. At the same time, Finn makes a grilled cheese sandwich with the image of Jesus Christ on it and begins praying to the sandwich. They marry these two stupid plots by having a pointless, banal discussion about religion and spirituality and mortality. That's a lot for a show to juggle. Can Glee pull it off? No! Is the grilled cheese sandwich thing ever funny? No! Does Bert's peril ever become compelling? No! Is the spiritual stuff ever? No! Okay, let me break it down. Finn is an awful character. Everyone keeps talking about how lovely and simple he is, but just because he's stupid doesn't mean he's nice. Him worshipping a cheese toastie and thinking that worship lets him touch Rachel's tits is not endearing. It's fucking stupid. They go from Finn worshipping this grilled cheese sandwich, and then he finds out about Bert's condition, and he bursts into the fucking Glee room like, "What did you tell me?" Fucking, it's not your dad, Finn. Conversation the Glee kids have about spirituality goes a little something like this. I'm a Christian. I'm not. The religious people in the Glee group go to Bert's bedside to sing gospel songs at his unconscious body, and they don't tell Kurt about it. And Kurt finds out, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we're just trying to help." And it's like, maybe fucking ask first. Most of you have never even had an on-screen conversation with Bert. A lot of people really like the scene with Kurt singing "I Want to Hold Your Hand." And I'll be honest, I just find it gross and manipulative. And a big part of that is just because I don't like the show and I don't care enough to invest emotionally. I don't trust the show at all. Like, the Glee showrunners understand that music is very powerfully emotive, and they can use fairly universal touchstones like a father figure in conjunction with that music to pull on the heartstrings. And I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But this is just so fucking stupid. Like, the best thing you can think of doing with one of your only likable characters is putting them in a 1-episode coma from a previously unmentioned heart condition. Fuck off. Oh, and of course they finish the episode by singing "What If God Was One of Us." Of course they think that's the height of spiritual profundity and not a worthless exercise in Gen X navel gazing. If God was a guy, what would his email address be? Fucking stupid. Number 7. Rachel sends Sunshine to a crack house. Rachel Berry is basically the main character of Glee, and she is awful. In season 1, I actually kind of liked her, though. People think she's annoying, but to me she just seemed like ambitious, and she knew what she wanted out of life, and she was going to pursue it no matter what. And she's the only one that ever does anything for other people. We're told in season 1 that she's like annoying and controlling, but we barely ever see that really. And then in season 2 they take her whole thing and just shove it into a petrol station toilet. Start of season 2, Rachel is looking for more people to join the Glee group. She runs into a new character called Sunshine, and then we see her ego on full display, and just a hint of racism.
Me yesterday in the courtyard.
What?
Oh, you don't speak English. You like me sing. You like me sing very much.
I totally speak English.
Then she hears Sunshine sing, and it turns out she's really good. So Rachel goes, "You know what? I've been rude. You would be a great asset for the Glee group." I'm kidding. She sends Sunshine to a crack den. This is bad, yeah, and it's treated as a bad thing to do, but it just completely tanks the character of Rachel. Like, she tried to get her killed, or like, what was the end result here? And it's all because she's worried she's going to get upstaged or some shit. It just proves that she actually doesn't give a shit about the fucking Glee group. All she cares about is having enough people behind her so she can walk to the front of the stage, lift her hand up high, and be fucking soppy and pissy about something. Number 6, the season 3 prom. They do a lot of proms in this show, and they all suck. The season 3 prom is dinosaur themed. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem. Ignore me. There are 2 big reasons why I hate this prom. Number 1 is Quinn was hit by a car because the show was trying to do a texting while driving PSA. So she's wheelchair bound, but by the time of the season 3 prom, she's making good progress thanks to sexy physical rehabilitation. Glee was a real TV show. She is able to stand and even walk a couple steps by the time of the prom, and she wants to do a big thing, like a show of her progress, like it's a miracle, you know, and have a big grand moment in front of all the students and stuff. Sounds fine, right? Well, not according to Finn. As I said, the show constantly tells us about how great Finn is, and how he's a sweet little angel. And the reality is, he's a 12-foot monster that bulldozes everything around him. For instance, he finds out that Quinn can sorta stand, and he fucking accosts her at the prom in front of everybody like, Get up, you frickin' liar! You frickin' baby! Like I say, she can barely stand. Like, she can't stand without support, and he wants her to stand up in front of everybody. This is so fucking weird. Also, if you absolutely needed this moment, could it not have come from Artie? Like, the guy who's in a wheelchair and over the course of the last couple episodes is kind of bonded with Quinn over their shared disability? No? It's just Finn being an asshole for no reason? A terrible moment for sure, but it's not the main reason I hate the prom. The worst part is that Rachel is the prom queen. And I have to explain why that's bad. Shit. Okay, in the first season, Quinn is dating Finn because he is the quarterback, and dating the quarterback increases your social standing, which would increase her chances of being prom queen. This is in opposition to Rachel, who wants to date Finn because she genuinely likes him. So dating Finn for social standing, trying to increase your social standing in front of the high school students, and being the prom queen. This is all shown as being a vain, stupid, meaningless pursuit. In the season 2 prom, Kurt is nominated as prom queen as a cruel, homophobic joke. Side note, they bring Kurt onto the stage to hand over the reins of the prom queen, something they don't do in any other prom. They just do it here for no reason other than to be like, hey Kurt, can you come up on stage for a sec? Just a quick reminder that everyone resents you and your sexuality, okay bud? The point I'm trying to make is that we, the audience, are constantly told to not give a shit about who the fucking prom queen is. And you know me, I desperately want to care about who the fucking prom queen is. So you're just watching someone get this meaningless award, and it's a character who I don't like get something she's never wanted and never worked. This isn't like the culmination of anything. It's not her becoming Quinn. It's just Rachel being like,
I'm the prom queen. I'm dating the quarterback.
Number 5, Finn beats up a sex worker. In season 4, Rachel is dating this guy, and it turns out he's a sex worker. She blows up at him, and it's like, okay, he lied about it, but fucking chill out. Anyway, Finn finds out about it and just fucking smashes this guy. Fucking don't hit the hooker in the face, Finn. You're gonna fuck with his money. This is, again, just a thing that happens. Nobody grows or learns anything from this. Nobody suffers any consequences. Rachel just has to suffer the indignity of dating a sex worker for a couple weeks, and then Finn smashes him in the fucking face. It sort of, kind of advances the Finn-Rachel relationship, but only in the sense that Rachel's kind of turned on by it when she finds out what Finn did.
Finn did that for me.
Number 4. Rachel stops doing Broadway. So by now, it should be apparent that I don't like Rachel.
Finn did that for me.
However, there is a saving grace to Rachel. She has a set goal, and we're reminded of it frequently. She wants the lead role in a production of Funny Girl on Broadway. Great, that's fine. Even seeing a character I don't like get something they want can be sort of compelling. And then she gets it and she's like, ugh. They so very clearly run out of ideas for her once she gets the role on Broadway. Like, one of the plots she has, the producer of the show she's in gives her a chauffeured car, and her journey is her realizing that she doesn't want it. Riveting. She decides this because she feels like she should just be walking the streets of New York City and experiencing all everything New York has to offer. And New York is sort of like its own character in the show. And based on how much all the other characters keep sucking New York City's dick, I guess it's the fucking main character. When the Funny Girl production finally begins, she's not sure if she can do the thing she's always wanted to do. And so all of the other characters come around her and remind her how great she is. This is very boring, but it doesn't work. So then Santana shows up and she's like, I'm not going to give you a pep talk. And then she gives her a fucking pep talk. The episode after all of Rachel's friends fly across the country to convince her to do the thing she's always wanted to do, she's like, yeah, I'm just not really feeling it. Fucking hell, could they not think of anything more interesting than this? What did they call up the penis store and be like, hello, this is Glee, we need an idea for an episode. Hello, this is the penis store. Who's the main character of Glee? It's Rachel Berry. Okay, what does she want? She wants the lead role on a Broadway production of Funny Girl. Okay. What if she didn't? That's amazing. This is genius. The penis store. Number 3. Rory. I fucking hate Rory. So I have to talk about the Glee project. Ugh. Okay. Glee was crazy popular. The showrunners decide that it's popular enough to have a reality TV show spin-off. They call it the Glee Project. The winner of the Glee Project gets to be on the main show, with the writers coming up with a brand new character just for the winner.
My talent is the way I flip my hair.
The guy who plays Rory won the first season. He was a dual winner with sexy physical rehabilitation guy who is also on the show and is nothing. The guy who plays Rory is Irish, meaning Rory is also Irish. His Irishness is caused by him being from Ireland. Being from Ireland makes him Irish. Ireland is a country. Basically, being Irish is the only thing Rory has going on, you know, apart from being horribly twee and also relentlessly horny. But that's every character, so. He is bullied for being Irish, which, okay, that's something that happens, sure. And then he no shit sings It's Not Easy Being Green. He pretends to be a leprechaun to try and convince Britney into fucking him. Gross. The writers seem to think that Ireland is like a singular farm near England, and all they do is farm four-leaf clovers and shit. Like, Rory's never heard of dodgeball. He's never heard of fucking peanut butter. Rory is given nothing to do, and we are given no reason to care about him. He constantly feels like someone has just photoshopped themselves into scenes of Glee. Which is, yeah, hastily adding characters into your dumb show because of your dumb American Idol wannabe bullshit is a dumb idea. I've listed some pretty wild shit on here, which might give you the impression that Glee is interesting. It's not. Mostly what I feel from Glee is boredom and discomfort. And no one makes me feel more bored and more uncomfortable than Rory. Number 2, Tina does a whoopsie. Tina Cohen-Chang is the worst written character I've ever seen in a long-running series outside of professional wrestling. When we first meet Tina, she has a stutter. She drops this because it turns out she was just pretending, which, whatever. But when we first meet her, she is like shy and goth and maybe bi. And then they just stop doing that and they just make her Rachel. The show is obsessed with Rachel, to the point where everyone eventually becomes Rachel. Rachel is a controlling narcissistic diva who craves the spotlight, as opposed to Mercedes, who is a controlling narcissistic diva who craves the spotlight. Then Santana is, of course, a controlling narcissistic diva who craves the spotlight. Kurt is a controlling narcissistic diva. This is such a fucking massive problem for the show. Everyone's Rachel, like she's going around agent smithing everybody. In the season 4 premiere, we meet a bunch of new characters, and the first episode's just called The New Rachel. You haven't got enough? Tina just becomes Rachel eventually. At no point is this in any way like a character growing or coming out of her shell or self-actualizing. They just sort of forget. They just forget what she's like. I don't know. What? When Tina's on screen, I'm actually not bored because she's so poorly written, it's fascinating. There are so many terrible Tina moments that I could talk about, but I've got to go with the big one. So I'm going to try and talk about this delicately. They decide for one episode that Tina's personality is she's attracted to gay guys. She's attracted to Blaine, which, I get it, girl. At the same time, Blaine is sick, and he passes out because of a fever with Tina there. And she molests him. Again, this is just a thing that happens, and the Blaine and Tina make up by the end of the episode, like, oh, water under the bridge. What are you gonna do? And yeah, she just molests one of her peers, and like, okay, but who is this for? Who's enjoying this? I don't want to harsh anyone's buzz or anything, but like Glee, why is every kind of medical scenario horny to you now? I've had a lot of fun at Glee's expense, and if you're a Glee fan, thank you for watching, first of all. And I do want to say, I understand the appeal of Glee. I think it's a very unique show in a lot of respects, and you know, if it's your kind of thing, then that's fine. But please join me on this side. Come over here and we can mock and deride my number one, the worst moment in maybe all of television. Number one, what the fox say? Okay, so there's a gas leak in the Glee rehearsal space, and this is not the only time they use gas on these kids. They love gassing these kids. And you can sort of see the logic in that, like, them being gassed and hallucinating allows them to do like an elaborate music video style production of a song. But like, that's the show. That's the whole show. They do this all the time with no reason. They don't have to gas the kids. They like, if you see a scene in there, they do this, they do this, they do this. Then they don't need to gas the kids. You don't need to gas these kids. Stop gassing these kids. The gas leak is sort of the B plot of the episode, and it's solved off screen. Sunrise, sunset. What a beautiful narrative we have woven. And then the gas leak. The gas leak makes Blaine get really into puppets. That's it. That's the plot. I don't have any more information for you. The gas leak makes Blaine get into puppets. That's what happens. I don't fucking know. There's a lazy attempt to tie it in where they say that Blaine's a puppet master.
We gotta remember, at McKinley, everyone has an equal vote. And if you come on too aggressively, they might think you're a control freak or a puppet master. Anyway.
For some reason, they really wanted puppets in this episode, so Blaine is a puppet master, meaning he's like a controlling narcissistic diva who craves the spotlight. Fuck! Blaine gets really into puppets, and he makes a bunch of puppets for all his friends that look like them. They look like his friends, and he mails them to New York. You can see this one character played by Adam Lambert called Elliot. Elliot's basically just like a normal guy surrounded by these horrible freaks, and he gets sent this puppet of him by Blaine. At this point, him and Blaine have never met. Like, imagine someone you've never met sends you a puppet of you. In a later episode, Blaine thinks that his boyfriend Kurt and Elliot are getting too chummy, so he bursts into Elliot's house, and Elliot is like pretty chill about it, but you can see in his eyes he's like, fuck me, it's that puppet guy, he's gonna fucking kill me, he's gonna turn me into a puppet. Anyway, I'm explaining the plot of the episode like this somehow builds to them doing what the fox say, but it doesn't. It doesn't in any way. They just do what the fox say. They just do it. What the fox say is annoying. It is. It's not very funny and it's annoying. But it's a comedy song. And it's so weird them just doing a comedy song. Like, they never do like a Lonely Island song or a Flight of the Conchords song. Jesus Christ, could you imagine? Doing a comedy song is just so weird. It's so, like, this is awful, obviously. It's Glee doing What the Fox Say. It's as bad as you think. But them doing a comedy song, like, you can't just take other people's jokes like this. They couldn't just do a 3-minute scene from The Big Bang Theory. But they do What the Fox Say.
What does the fox say? Ding, 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 ding.
Anyway, that's that. That's the 10 worst things that happened on Glee, and it is by no means all of the worst things that happen on Glee, or all of the reasons it's bad. It's such an awful, awful show, and I'd be lying if I said that I don't get a lot of enjoyment out of hating on it. I do. It makes me incredibly angry in a very fun way. It's fun to be mad, and I wish that being angry at Glee was my job. And so hit that subscribe button, and maybe I can make it that.